NorCal. 209 King of Comedy. It's Rick without the K. James presents, in my opinion, podcast.
Now, little sis, I call her, Emily, she was in the show, and she had been in several of our first 3 or 4 episodes. What was your overall take on Emily?
Well, I'd have to start off and tell the viewers, if I didn't already, it was funny because I went to go eat sushi. Emily was a waitress there. And I was like, damn, she is cute. And I go, I want her on the show. And then I was driving, one of those rideshare fucking companies, and I pick her up as a rider. And we start talking about it, and she tells me during the drive that she works at the sushi bar. And I was like, oh my God, so it was that girl. And then I gave her my name, number, nothing came of it. A week or 2 passes, she needs another ride, drunk again. I go and pick her up, and I was like, hey, did you check out the podcast? We'd love to have you on there. And that's when we started talking for reals about the podcast. And then I think that's when I called you, and then we talked about the whole sister committing suicide thing.
Well, guys, as he said, I did have a sister commit suicide last June. She was my best friend. We were a year and a half apart in age, and she was the best person to grow up with and the kindest soul you ever could meet. All you have to do is love the people that you are around, support them as much as you can, listen to them, really listen to them, because sometimes they are screaming for you.
And that's where I was like, not only is she cute, but she can bring something else to the show. And that was one of the hardest hitting clips of any of the episodes, because shit just comes to light. And that's what I like about doing this podcast is we're thinking it's going to go this way, and sometimes it goes that way, and you're like, whoa, how did we get there? But it turns out way better than what we wanted it to. So
I'm a big believer in seasons. You have this season of your life, this season of your life, and this season of your life. And it changes. Someone may come in and teach you lessons. Someone may teach you good lessons, bad lessons. Emily came into our podcast for a little while, which we'd love to have her back, of course. But we thought we were going to have her long term. Some things changed in her life. For those that, I'm just kind of recapping off what you said. Beautiful young 21, 22-year-old girl. And she's out open about living she had lived a bisexual lifestyle. She had a sister that had committed suicide about a year exactly from when we were filming. So if you watch the first few episodes, you'll see how her progression goes to where she gets more and more emotional. And the last episode, she almost has a little bit of a breakdown, because it was almost a year to the day that her sister had committed suicide. So, and we talked about a couple things like that. And she got very emotional. Of course, she was drinking a little bit that episode because she was hurting inside. Yeah. So it was great to have her, and like you said, all her reflection and stuff. I've never had anything like that happen to me, thank God. So you had an aunt you had mentioned on the show?
I had an aunt that passed away, and it was a close aunt, and I shared the line on there that I didn't understand that my aunt said love me when I'm here, because when I'm gone you can't tell me. And that just it came full circle with Emily. But to go back to the original question is to piggyback off of that though too is what did I like best about the first season is the growth. I think it was totally the growth for myself, knowing that I had intentions to go into certain clips or episodes a certain way, and I came out of it differently. And I was like, man, and that's probably the thing that I enjoy the most of this podcast is knowing that I'm getting something from it, because it ain't the fucking subscribers, all right?
So if we're talking about the growth and the entire season, let's start back at episode 1. Our first episode, we had June with us, and June's a comedian that you had worked with.
Yeah.
What was your take on June, and how did you feel about that episode and everything?
Yeah, Mary June came, and it was, you see the progression, or at least I see the progression. Maybe you do too, because you've been on almost every fucking episode. And it was just something, mind you, this is something that I've had in my mind for about 7-8 years, and I got started late. in doing the podcast, and now it just feels like everybody's doing a podcast and they think, oh, Ric's jumping on the bandwagon, where that's not the case. So when I did the first episode, I just wanted to get it done. And Mary June is a comic that I saw at Tommy T's, my home club, and we just started shooting the shit for a minute. And I was like, man, she's really cute. Like, I would love to have her. She seems pretty funny. She's a little younger. And at first, when I started, I kind of went to the younger crowd, right? Thinking that we'd have more in common. But as I've seen over the clips, I'm not sure if we have that much in common. You know, we might like the same music and not even that, right? But when she showed up that day, it was kind of disappointing for me, because I looked at this little cute Asian girl, and then she shows up in baggy sweats and fucking cornrows, and I was all, did you kidnap Mary June? Because who the fuck are you?
It's kind of funny you say that, because the picture you showed me was of this beautiful old Asian girl in a tight red dress. And I remember thinking, damn, that's cool. Because I jokingly say, me and you got ugly covered. We need something pretty on the podcast. And so when she showed up in a long sweatshirt sleeves, looking like, I'm sorry, a little Asian boy, and she had these cornrows on, I was really like, I was devastated, because I wanted, you know, I'm not trying to be sexist at all, but I wanted someone that kind of pops a little bit. And I'm not saying know your place, but, you know, there's a certain reason you want someone on in certain things. And from a stand-up standpoint, she was supposed to be a friend of yours, a comic. I even expected more in her verbal. What's your take on that? The perception on women and their social life?
I personally would not brag about it.
Okay.
Because
There was maybe 2 good takes she had, but you know, let's be the truth, since we're reflecting and talking behind the scenes, she damn near fell asleep on us at the end of the episode.
Not damn near. I think she did.
Yeah.
So, I think she did, and there was one thing, and again, I'm cool with Mary June. I want to put that out there. But I felt like...
Great person. Great person.
And we all had lunch after the episode, and one of my favorite restaurants and shit. And
I just expected, Mary June, when you're watching and you get pissed at us, I just expected you to show up, just snap it.
But I think the thing that even spoke to me more than her showing up like that is she made a comment, and sorry if I misquote you, the comment was something to the effect like, I showed up like this because I didn't want to be noticed for my beauty. I came on here where I was like I felt like you purposely wanted to not give 100% to the show.
But did you feel, because we talked about this, and I'm trying to remember if you felt the same as me. Did you feel at fault a little bit because we didn't point it out to her what we wanted?
Yes, and I think we're getting better with each episode. But right now, because we haven't hit the subscribers, we haven't gotten the sponsors we wanted, and the stuff that I've pre-planned for everything hasn't gone according to plan, and we know this is going to take it's going to be a slow build-up. But it's kind of hard to ask people to come to do this for a free meal. You know what I mean? So I totally understand that, and I know people are going to watch this that have been on the podcast and be like, bro, you didn't do shit for me. You didn't pay me to be there, and I'm thankful.
My main man, Ric James. That's the one you think, the comedian Ric James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Please hit the subscribe button down low so you can see all new clips, all new episodes coming to you.